Welcome to Scary Time by Indie Drop-In Network. Each week we feature an episode from the best independent creators. Subscribe for great scary content. If you would like to help support indie creators, check out our Patreon at the bottom of the show notes. Today's episode is from Anxious and Afraid. Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to subscribe and follow on social media. Enjoy the show.
Begin.
Your laptop? My laptop?
There's there.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm bringing mine anyway.
Yeah, but I can't even use Chrome still. Like, you have to deal with that. Like, I don't understand.
I
cannot deal with computer things.
I can't deal with Windows.
But I can't deal with technology. Like, real bad.
I don't understand Windows at all. I completely lost any.
It's not that hard.
Oh, is it?
I mean, for somebody who understands computers.
Beep bop boop. Zeros and ones.
It's zeros and ones and buttons.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, welcome. I'm Abby.
And I'm Shauna.
And this is Anxious.
And Afraid.
Episode 32.
Yes.
Woo woo.
Woo woo.
Welcome back. This is a podcast where we talk about things that make us anxious and afraid.
Yeah, so what made you an anxious or afraid this week, Abby?
This week. Well, to update you on my journey with the Jovi.
Jovi?
A Jovi is the migraine injections.
Oh.
It's been 3 months.
Okay.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
Time has weirdly flown by. So
Right.
It's time for me to do 3 more injections.
Ooh.
And I got it. So I think I'm going to do that tonight, which is going to suck. But
That'd be hard to do.
I've had so many fewer. It's crazy how
Life-changing.
life-changing it is. Yeah.
I've known you for years and you've always complained about crazy migraines.
Constantly.
Yeah, and I have migraines too, so I know how they feel, but I don't have them as often as you.
And this injection has legit changed my life. But I will say, as I'm coming off of it, poor Michael has had to deal with this. It makes me feel like a crazy person.
Oh, I bet. Isn't it like hormones and shit?
I don't know. It's messing with my hormones though, because
Ooh.
I'm on the verge of crying all the time. Don't know why. My jaw is clenching. I have like
Real bad.
really bad jitters. Like my legs are just constantly bouncing.
Oh, no.
Restless. Like it's making me feel insane.
Oh, no.
So I'm, gonna have to shoot up tonight.
Wow. Yes, please do that for us.
Yeah. And one other thing, I was chopping vegetables and a spider fell from the ceiling and landed right next to my hand.
That's disgusting. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. It was terrifying. What made you anxious or afraid this week?
Okay, so I have gotten out of the way watching this stupid Jeffrey Epstein documentary.
Oh, no, you watched it.
I watched all 4 episodes. Like I did 1 episode a day all this week.
Okay.
'Cause that's all I could handle.
Yeah.
Today.
You got to do it in pieces. Like,
Yeah, it's really well done, but man, girl, have you seen it? Have you seen the trailer or anything?
No.
It's fucked up.
Really?
I mean, it's just so real and it's so happening right now in this world and it's crazy bonkers bananas.
I just know it would make me upset.
It's very upsetting because like all the survivors speak and they describe what happened to them and just like details and it's not chill.
Not chill.
So that's been real sad.
Yeah. Watching rich people get away with that kind of stuff makes me it just kills me inside to the point where I was like, I can't put myself through that.
Yeah, and how terrifying to go against a guy who's literally like the wealthiest guy ever who does get away with everything.
Yeah.
Like if you come out, like what's going to happen? Like
Terrible things.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's rough. But it's really well made and
So
should probably
you would
watch it.
recommend?
I would recommend. It's good to know these kind of things and to hear women and to believe women.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very important.
Very important.
Yeah. And at least it's only 4. So it was easier. I'm not going to say it's easier, but I had a hard time going through the Tiger King.
Oh, I
That was
watched
more
that.
episodes.
Yeah. I mean, I only watched like maybe 1, maybe 2 a day. I didn't watch more than that.
But you finished it?
I did finish it.
Yeah. That was rough to watch.
It made me really sad too.
Very sad, especially the way they ended it with like old clips of him saying like the good right thing, and I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
I know.
Oh, that's really sad.
I mostly just felt sad. I was just like, I don't really care about any of these people. I just feel bad for the tigers.
No, legit. Like
in the end, I'm like, you know
those
what?
poor tigers. Those poor
Baskins,
animals.
all y'all, you can go fuck off. But like, save the tigers.
Yeah, the tigers don't deserve that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Crazy documentaries.
Yeah.
Crazy world.
Hey, so I want to make a quick correction from our last episode.
Kurt Cobain.
Yes, that's what I did. And it's just really funny. It's just like, just a little bit funny. But I did catch myself listening back, and somebody also pointed out that I accidentally called Frances, the little girl, a teenager. And girl, my brain's stuck in the 2000s because we're almost 30 and she was 2 years younger than us, okay?
So she's not a fresh young teenager.
She's not even a young adult. She's probably like a full-blown adult,
She's
like
a
us.
full-grown woman.
So I'm aware.
Thanks, Heather. Heather in the Facebook. She always got our back.
Yeah, it was hilarious, but I just want to make sure people know I'm not stupid.
Thank you for that correction.
Also, this segues to your sister Katie texted us,
Yes.
and she had an interesting theory that we didn't even think about when we were talking through the episode.
Yeah, I don't think we came across from her perspective where she was saying maybe Courtney helped him kill himself.
Yeah, like maybe she felt like so bad for him and like loved him so much and he wanted to do it. Maybe she helped him do it, which is like such a turn of juiciness, I think.
Yeah.
It would kind of make sense that she was like acting weird and kind of aware of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very weird.
But we love all of everyone's alternative theories.
No, yeah, because that makes me keep thinking because, I mean, I still think he did it, but
yeah.
It's very interesting.
It is. Well, is that all of our items on the agenda?
Yeah, girl, I think it's your turn to do an episode.
Okay.
Oh.
Here we go.
Okay. Okay.
Unless you don't want to. We can just,
Are you
just
sure
end it
about
right here.
I think we should pack up and go.
Okay, we'll do this another time.
No, I'm ready.
Right.
It did take me some time to get into this one. I think I was kind of done with it halfway through being done with it,
Mm-hmm.
where you're just like,
It's rough.
I'm over it. But that's fine. Let's get excited.
We're really selling ourselves.
No. Okay. So this week, I thought we would do a category that we haven't covered yet. And that category is haunted objects. Do you have any upfront guesses?
No, did you do one of the big ones?
Yeah, it's one of the big
Is it
ones.
one of the dolls?
No.
Oh, okay. Is it the box?
It's the box. Yeah.
the Dibbuk box?
Yeah. So, yes, we've done haunted locations. We've done haunted children. But now we're going to do a haunted wine cabinet.
Nice. I'm stoked.
Yes, we are doing the Dibbuk box.
Ooh.
Which, yeah. I mean, I'm sure some people have heard of it.
I mean, come on.
It's one of the more popular modern, urban legends.
Yeah. And if you're any fan of Ghost Adventures or Zach Bagans,
Oh, he comes up quite a few times.
oh, I love it. I'm all for it. And I'm ready for it.
Yeah, his name is in the next sentence.
I hate him so much.
Me too. I was pulling Michael into some of this stuff I was looking up with Zach Bagans. You have to come look at this because
so
I'm just dying laughing. Because he takes himself so seriously. Or he doesn't. Maybe he's trolling us all. Is he trolling us?
It's really hard to tell, but he's just very dramatic.
Yes. His mom told him he was special probably a lot. Okay, so I am a little ashamed to say that the first time I learned about the Dibbuk box was through Zach Bagans.
It's probably me too.
Yeah, his show where he has all the cursed objects.
Yeah.
In his museum.
Out of his 8 shows that he does or whatever.
Yeah. And the episode was so cringy, I almost couldn't finish it. But I have had the Dibbuk box on my to-do list since the very start of this podcast.
Fun.
It's an OG list item. Also, I'm running out of lists items, so help a sister out and send me some suggestions, please. Okay, so the concept of a Dibbuk box is actually a pretty new thing, having only been popularized in the 2000s. A Dibbuk, however, is not a new thing. They've been around for quite some time, with mentions as far back as the 17th century. Hebrew folklore defines a dybbuk as a restless soul or evil spirit who attaches to a person's soul, sometimes causing mental illness and having the ability to control and speak through that person. Once possessed by the dybbuk, the person may suddenly have knowledge of secrets and events they should know nothing about. Sounds familiar, right? Sounds a lot like demonic possession on the surface. But the big difference is Judaism doesn't really believe that people can be possessed by demons, but instead are possessed by wandering spirits of the dead.
Okay.
The word dybbuk is an abbreviated Hebrew verb meaning a cleavage of an evil spirit.
Cleavage. I couldn't help it.
Cleavage in this sense does not mean tits, which is what I wrote down because I knew you were going to say that.
Full titties.
We're not talking about evil ghost titties.
Evil ghost titties.
Wow. Scary tits. No. So cleavage in this sense means to stick or adhere to a person's soul.
Okay.
From what I read, a dybbuk is not always necessarily a bad thing. You could get possessed by a lost spirit with unfinished business who simply needs your help to accomplish their task. And once that is done, they are free and they will leave your body.
Okay.
It's kind of cute, right? It's like a little built-in ghost friend.
Ghost friend mission accomplished thing.
Yeah. He's like, I have a to-do list. Let's hang out for a while, then I'll go. Yeah. So sometimes you get a nice ghost, not always a nice ghost. Sometimes it's an evil one. Sometimes it's Casper. Who knows?
Either way, it's scary.
Yeah. So from what I read, they're usually drawn to people in vulnerable mental or emotional states, making them an easier target for possession.
For sure.
Once the possession takes hold, a rabbi will be required to free the spirit from the person's body, but the Jewish faith is a lot more gentle about it than the Catholics.
I can see that.
Yeah. As you know from our Exorcist series, just go back and listen if you missed it. The Catholics are pretty intense with their exorcisms sometimes. I mean, if you remember, things get violent and gross.
Rough, yes.
A lot of bodily fluids. But the rabbi isn't seeking to banish the spirit from the body. They instead seek to heal the spirit as well as the possessed person. Although in one source it did say that the rabbi would send the evil spirit to hell, so sometimes you gotta send them to hell. You know, what are you gonna do?
All right, if they're extra bad, then they gotta go to hell.
Yeah. But overall, their exorcism process seems a lot nicer, with 10 people forming a circle around the possessed person and reading Bible verses with the rabbi blowing a ram's horn called a shofar. This apparently shakes the spirit loose when the right notes are played.
Oh, interesting.
I think they should play September by Earth, Wind, and Fire because no one can resist that song. But also I'm getting this like kind of funny image of a rabbi just blowing a horn really loudly in someone's face.
It's kind of creepy and weird though too.
I mean, yeah, it's an exorcism.
Yeah.
They usually are. Okay, so that's essentially what a dybbuk is. Do you have any questions or concerns?
No.
Okay. You may have noticed I didn't say anything about a box in relation to the history of the dybbuk, and that's because up until very recently, the two never really had a connection. If you think about it, it doesn't really make sense that a dybbuk would be trapped in a box, as they have historically only been tied to people. But we don't make the rules, and you can decide for yourself if you believe this story. Like all great tales, our story begins with a listing on eBay in 2003.
Yep.
The photos with the listing are of an old, worn-down looking tiny cabinet. It has 2 doors and a small drawer below the doors with a design on each door that looks like a bunch of grapes. Have you seen the box? You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. It looks like something
It's
you'd see in like your Aunt Carol's house. Like the one who collects chickens and...
That's my mom. She has like...
I immediately thought of your mom's kitchen.
Chickens everywhere, man.
But I feel like she has like... the decorations with like the bunch of grapes and like the grapevines and stuff. You know?
Yeah. Makes sense for a wine cabinet.
Yeah. The eBay listing was by a man named Kevin Mannis, who was from the Pacific Northwest. He was a writer, a musician, and he owned an antique shop in Portland, Oregon.
Stop.
Local. So his
He
eBay...
had it?
Huh?
So the box was in Portland?
Yeah.
Ew.
I didn't realize it was that close.
Me neither. I don't like it.
It's only a couple hours away. So his eBay listing really shows his writing side because this listing is long, but it's pretty good. So I'm just going to read it to you in its entirety.
Please.
All of the events that I'm about to set forth in this listing. This is
so
him.
proper.
Yes. Oh, sorry. This is him. Let me start this. So all of the events that I am about to set forth in this listing are accurate and may be verified by the winning bidder with the copies of hospital records and sworn affidavits that I am including as part of the sale of the cabinet.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you pulled a Michael. You pulled a Michael.
Do we need a shame break? I am ashamed. During September of 2001, I attended an estate sale in Portland, Oregon. The items liquidated at the sale were from the estate of a woman who had passed away at the age of 103.
Whoa.
A granddaughter of the woman told me that her grandmother had been born in Poland when she grew up, married, raised a family, and lived. That's where she lived until she was sent to a Nazi concentration camp during World War II.
Mm.
She was the only member of her family who survived the camp.
Oh,
Her parents, brothers, a sister, husband, and 2 sons and a daughter were all killed.
stop.
She survived the camp by escaping with some other prisoners and somehow making her way to Spain, where she lived until the end of the war.
Mm.
I was told that she acquired the small wine cabinet listed here in Spain, and it was one of only 3 items that she brought with her when she immigrated to the United States.
Mm.
The other 2 items were a steamer trunk and a sewing box.
Nice.
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 I purchased the wine cabinet along with the sewing box and some other furniture at the estate sale. After the sale, I was approached by the woman's grandmother who said, "I see you got the Dibbuk box." She was referring to the wine cabinet. I asked her what a Dibbuk box was, and she told me that when she was growing up, her grandmother always kept the wine cabinet in her sewing room. It was always shut and set in a place that was out of reach. The grandmother always called it the Dibbuk box. When the girl asked her grandmother what was inside, her grandmother spit 3 times through her fingers, said a Dibbuk, and kesselim. The grandmother went on to tell the girl that the wine cabinet was never, ever to be opened.
Whoa. Creepy.
The granddaughter told me that her grandmother had asked that the box be buried with her. However, as such a request was contrary to the rules of an Orthodox Jewish burial, the grandmother's request had not been honored.
Mm.
I asked the granddaughter what a Dibbuk and kesselim were, but she did not know. I asked if she would like to open it with me. She did not want to open it, as her grandmother had been very emphatic and serious when she instructed her not to do so, and regardless of the reason, she wanted to honor her grandmother's request.
What did the grandmother do? Is she like a little witchy?
She's a little witch. I finally ended up offering to let her keep what seemed to be a sentimental keepsake.
Yeah.
At that point, she was very insistent and said, no, you bought it.
Ooh.
I explained that I didn't want my money back and that it would make me feel better to do what I thought was an act of kindness.
Okay, yeah.
She then became somewhat upset. Looking back now, the way she became upset was just plain odd.
Weird.
She raised her voice to me and said, "You bought it. You made a deal."
This is like, it reminds me of a horror movie where like an old woman gets aggressive and creepy. And this is a real woman acting strange and aggressive and creepy.
She's like, no takesies backsies.
No. Wow, off-putting though.
When I tried to speak, she yelled, "We don't want it." She began to cry, asked me to leave, and quickly walked away.
Oh my gosh, you made an old lady cry.
Well, this woman I don't think is old. This is the
Oh.
granddaughter.
Oh, my bad.
Talking about her grandma.
Got it.
Yeah.
My bad.
But it sounds like the grandma was creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
From what she's saying. I wrote the whole episode off to the stress and grief she must have been experiencing because her grandma died.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
I took my purchases and politely left. At the time when I bought the cabinet, I owned a small furniture refinishing business. I took the cabinet to my store and put it in my basement workshop where I intended to refinish it and give it as a gift to my mother. I didn't think anything more about it. I opened my shop for the day and went to run some errands, leaving the young woman who did sales for me in charge. After about a half hour, I got a call on my cell phone. The call was from my salesperson. She was absolutely hysterical and screaming that someone was in my workshop breaking glass and swearing.
Ew.
Furthermore, the intruder had locked the iron security gates and the emergency exit, and she couldn't get out. As I told her to call the police, my cell phone battery went dead. I hit speeds of 100 miles per hour getting back to the shop. When I arrived, I found the gates locked. I went inside and found my employee on the floor in a corner of my office, sobbing hysterically. I ran to the basement and went downstairs. At the bottom of the stairs, I was hit by an overpowering, unmistakable odor of cat urine.
Ew.
There had never been any animals kept or found in my shop. The lights didn't work. As I investigated, I found that the reason the lights didn't work also explained the sounds of glass breaking. All of the light bulbs in the basement were broken.
Shattered?
All 9 incandescent bulbs had been broken in their sockets, and 10 4-foot fluorescent tubes were lying shattered on the floor.
Whoa.
And also, have you ever heard a fluorescent tube break?
No, I bet it's really loud.
It sounds like a gunshot.
Yeah, like a really loud pop explosion of glass.
Because I think because of the mercury, I can't remember, but when I worked at Jerry's, people would bring them in for recycling. And we had one guy who had like a 10-footer. It was so fucking long. And he went to set it down on the counter and he did it too hard and it burst.
Whoa.
Yeah, not good.
You have a lot of Jerry stories.
I do. Probably breathed in some glass that day. Okay, so he did not find an intruder. I would also add that there was only one entrance to the basement. It would have been impossible for anyone to leave without meeting me head on. I went back up to speak to my salesperson, but she had left. She never returned to work.
She's like, see you later.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
like, fuck that. After having been with me for 2 years, she just peaced out that day. She's like, nope. She refuses to discuss the incident to this day. I never thought of relating the events of that day to anything having to do with the cabinet. Then, things got worse. As I already indicated, I had decided to give the cabinet to my mother as a birthday gift. About 2 weeks after I made the purchase, I decided to start refinishing it. I was surprised to find that the cabinet has a unique little mechanism. When you open one of the doors, the mechanism causes the opposite door and the little drawer below to open at the same time. So it all just kind of pops open. It was very well made. Inside the cabinet, I found the following items. 1 1928 U.S. wheat penny. 1 1925 U.S. wheat penny. 1 small lock of blonde hair bound with string. 1 small lock of black and brown hair bound with string. 1 small granite statue engraved and gilded with Hebrew letters. I have been told that the letters spell out the word shalom. 1 dried rosebud. 1 golden wine cup. 1 very strange black iron cast candlestick holder with octopus legs.
What?
It's like...
okay. Not like actual octopus legs. Like not real.
No, yeah.
Okay,
not actual tentacles, but it's like a candlestick and then the legs of it look like octopus tentacles.
That's cool.
I was like, that sounds dope. I saved all the items in a box intending to return them to the estate. The family has refused the items, so they will be included in the sale of this cabinet. After opening the cabinet, I decided not to refinish it. I cleaned it and I rubbed in some lemon oil. It was at this time that I noticed that there was an inscription in Hebrew carved into the back of the cabinet. I have no idea what it says or if it's significant. I have included a picture of that inscription below. On my mother's birthday, October 28th, 2001, my mother called to tell me that she was going out of town with my sister for 3 days, and we postponed celebrating her birthday together until she returned. On October 31st, 2001, that's Halloween, my mother came to my shop. We were going to have lunch together, but before we were going to leave, I gave her the wine cabinet. She seemed to like it. While we examined it, I went to make a phone call. I hadn't been out of sight more than 5 minutes when one of my employees came running into my office saying that something was wrong with my mom. When I went back to see what the matter was, I found my mom sitting in a chair beside the cabinet. Her face had no expression, but tears were streaming down her cheeks. No matter how I tried to get her to respond, she would not. She could not. It turns out that my mother had suffered a stroke. She was taken to the hospital by ambulance, and she ended up suffering partial paralysis and losing her ability to speak and form words.
No.
She has since regained the ability to speak.
Oh, good.
She could understand things being said to her, but could only respond by pointing to letters of the alphabet to spell out the words she wanted to say.
Ugh.
When I asked her the following day how she was doing, she teared up and spelled out the words, "no gift." I assured her that I had given her a gift for her birthday, thinking that she didn't remember, but she became even more upset and spelled out the words, "hate gift."
Ooh, burn.
I laughed and told her not to worry. I told her sorry that she didn't like the cabinet, and I would get her anything she wanted if she promised to get well soon.
So he didn't still put her stroke connected to the cabinet at all?
No. And that's a theme in this story. He seems very thick. Or
Yeah.
a liar.
Mm.
Because it gets to the point of ridiculousness where you're like,
Come on,
how
dude.
are you still not?
Just turn to the other side.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, the stuff in the box, like, that's like spell stuff. Like, if you have hair in string.
But also that's something that people used to do pretty commonly back in the day. Like they would
hair or something.
Well, that or like they'd give a lock of their hair to like their lover or their betrothed or whatever.
Why? People are weird. I don't understand.
I don't know. They didn't have Tinder. Here's some hair.
I'm poor. Have my hair.
I'm poor. Yeah, or like your baby's first haircut. Like
Yeah.
you know.
That I understand, but that's babies.
But like, yeah, like we found a container of teeth and I was like, to anyone else, this would be fucking weird, but like I know they're baby teeth, so you know?
Yeah.
Different times. Still, oh yeah, so he's saying he doesn't associate anything with the cabinet.
Right.
I'll try to make this short now. He doesn't. I gave the cabinet to my sister. She kept it for a week, then gave it back. She complained that she couldn't get the doors to stay closed and that they kept coming open. There were no springs in the door mechanism, and I have never found that the doors come open. I gave it to my brother and his wife, who kept it for 3 days and then gave it back.
Can't get rid of it.
My brother said it smelled like jasmine flowers, while his wife insisted that it put out the odor of cat urine.
Interesting that comes up again.
Mm-hmm. And cat
And that
urine's the worst.
Yeah, that's the worst smell. And then the other guy actually smells a pleasant flowery smell.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Right?
Also, this is all still in the eBay description.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a book.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and it keeps going.
All right.
But it's all pertinent, so that's why I'm going to read it all.
Love it.
I gave it to my girlfriend, who asked me to sell it for her after only 2 days. I would be offended if his girlfriend. That's your third re-gift at this point.
I didn't even think about that.
Like,
Oh
thanks, babe. Love you too.
Oh, nobody wants this haunted item and you want to give it to me?
Thanks. Appreciate it. So she asked him to sell it for her after only 2 days. I sold it the same day to a nice middle-aged couple. 3 days later, when I came to open the shop for the day, I found the cabinet sitting at the front doors with a note that read, "This has bad darkness."
Oh my gosh.
I had no idea what that meant.
Stop it, dude. Come on now.
Anyway, I ended up taking it home.
Gosh.
Then things got even worse. Since the day I brought it home, I began having a strange, recurring nightmare. Every time I have this horrible dream, it goes something like this. I find myself walking with a friend, usually someone I know well and trust at some point in the dream. I find myself looking into the eyes of the person that I am with. It is then that I realize that there is something different, something evil looking back at me. At that point in my dream, the person I'm with changes into what can only be described as the most gruesome, demonic-looking hag that I've ever seen. This hag proceeds then to beat the living tar out of me.
Oh, the living tar.
Yes, I have awakened numerous times to find bruises and marks on myself where I had been hit by the old woman during the previous night.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
So like that's his dream, and then he wakes up with the bruise actually on his
Yeah,
arm.
with the welts.
Whoa.
Getting his ass kicked by a little old lady.
Wow.
Yeah,
A lot of
embarrassing.
old lady creepiness.
I know. Still, I never related the nightmares to the cabinet.
So stupid. Dude.
Nor do I think that I ever would have. You were thick. About a month ago, however, my sister and my brother and his wife came over to my house and spent the night. The following morning, during breakfast, my sister complained that she had a horrible nightmare. She said that she recalled having it. She'd had it a couple days before and went on to describe my nightmare exactly to the last detail. My brother and his wife froze as they listened and then chimed in that they both had the same exact dreams during the night as well.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine just like realizing everyone had the same dream?
I cried.
You can hear Lou snore.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, that's Lou snoring on the couch and it's still being picked up on these mics. Hear it?
I thought that was a motorcycle.
Nope, that's
in the distance.
That's my big fat Baba Lou.
Wait, let's all be quiet and listen. I'm impressed.
He's a sweet boy. He's a good boy.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
Where were we? Okay, so they all had the same fucked up nightmare. The hair was standing on the back of my neck and still is. As we talked, it became clear that the common denominator was that each of us had the nightmare during the time that the cabinet was in our respective homes. I called my girlfriend and asked if she would recall having any nightmares recently. She described the same nightmare, the same hag, everything.
Nuts.
Still, I didn't relate.
When I asked her if she remembered the date when she had the nightmare, she said she did not. Then I asked her if it happened to be the night before she gave me the cabinet back to sell for her. And she said, hey, yeah, how did you know that?
So it was like all of them on the same night?
No, every time whoever had the box, they would have that nightmare.
Oh.
Yeah, so if it was in their house, they were having that nightmare.
That's creepy.
Mm-hmm. Now then, since my family discussion, it seems like all hell is breaking loose. For a week afterward, I started seeing what I can only describe as shadow things in my peripheral vision.
Creepy.
In fact, numerous visitors to my house have claimed that they have seen these shadow things. I put the cabinet in an outside storage unit and was awakened when the smoke alarm in the unit went off in the middle of the night. When I went to see what was burning, I opened the door and didn't see any smoke. However, I did get hit with the smell of cat urine.
Oh my gosh, cat urine again. No cats.
Strikes again. When I went back inside, the smell was there in my house. And he put in all caps, I do not own a cat and I never have.
Never, ever have I had a cat.
I went back outside and grabbed the cabinet. I brought it back inside and tried to research it on the internet. While I was surfing the net, I fell asleep and once again had the same freaking nightmare.
No.
I woke up at around 4:30 a.m. when it felt and smelled like someone was breathing on my neck.
Ew.
To find that the house now smelled like jasmine flowers.
No, a jasmine again.
And just in time to see a huge shadow thing go loping down the hall away from me.
That's like the warning. You get the smell first and then all of a sudden you see a shadow person and that's fucking creepy. Love it.
I would destroy this thing in a second, except I really don't have any understanding of what I may or may not be dealing with.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that might be worse.
Yeah, I am afraid, and I do mean afraid, that if I destroy the cabinet, whatever it is that seems to have come with the cabinet may just stay here with me. I have been told that there are people who shop on eBay that understand these kinds of things and specifically look for these kinds of items. If you are one of these people, please, please buy this cabinet and do whatever you do with a thing like this. Help me. You can see that I have no reserve price or minimum bid. If I can make things any easier, let me know and I will do everything within my abilities.
Wow.
One more note. On the same day my mom had her stroke, the lease to my store was summarily terminated without cause. And then he says the measurements, which is like 1.5 feet by about 8 by about 16. So it's not a huge cabinet. It's kind of small. What else did he say? All of the other items that I originally found inside the cabinet are included in the sale and will be delivered with the cabinet. And then later he added, there's no way that I can respond to all the emails I've received since putting this thing online.
Really?
Yeah, apparently got a lot of feedback. I'll try now to update and answer the most common questions I've been receiving. 1, no, I am not religious. 2, no, I do not wish to have or participate in any type of exorcism or case study or photo sessions at my home. 3, no, I will not sell any of the individual pieces which were originally found separate from the other pieces and the cabinet. 4, no, I do not speak Hebrew, nor do I know what the word Kesselim means. I do I don't know that the word is even a Hebrew word. Sorry, hit a bunch of typos. Yeah. 5, at the end of the auction, I have decided to take an opportunity to speak with the winning bidder for 2 reasons. 1, to make sure that the winning bidder is a serious adult who has employed some valid reasoning skills to make the decision to accept whatever this is. I will not be judgmental. Do whatever you want or need after the sale. 2, to offer full details of the events that have transpired. After I have carried out these responsibilities and upon payment, I will have the cabinet and its contents delivered by U.S. mail, FedEx, or UPS to the winning bidder. At that point, I will have no further involvement with the matter in any way, shape, or form, period.
Wow.
6, to all of you who have offered to pray, I may not be religious, but I am certainly open to the possibilities. No matter what your religion might be, thank you. This is towards the end.
I mean, he's so serious, and he's probably thought of like everything. That's why he's listing so much.
Yeah, it sounds like he got a million messages.
He's so over it.
And then he added this. Here is another update for everyone following this listing. No, I will not circumvent or make any deals outside of eBay, even for more money than the final auction price. If you want to win the auction and have the kind of money some of you are offering, there shouldn't be any kind of reason why you cannot simply place your bid in an open, honest fashion. I'm sure you can understand why you might be suspicious. Also, for those of you wanting to know if I'm still experiencing anything out of the ordinary, I thought everything was going okay until I came home on Friday, the 13th of June, and found that the fish in my freshwater aquarium, all 10 were dead.
Creepy. On Friday the 13th.
Fish murderers.
Dead fish. Creepy.
I'm still hoping that all of this is coincidental crap. Okay, so obviously, so that's the end of it.
Yet you're so fucking scared, dude. Mm-hmm. Just say that you're scared of a haunted object.
And it only sold for $140.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts so far?
Did a YouTuber win the box?
No. But I don't know. I feel like he could have just donated it. He could have taken it to Goodwill. I mean, like, I guess he's I don't want to unleash this evil on the world, but.
Yeah, because he really, it sounds like he really wanted the person to be really aware.
Yeah.
And not have the guilt that he gave it to somebody who
unknowingly
wasn't aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's like obviously scared shitless of it.
But in that same vein, he was giving to every member of his family he could think of. He has more care about a random stranger than his own family.
Yeah, I guess that's right, because he probably didn't give him a disclaimer like that long.
Not to his family. He was like, I never even thought it could be the box.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, that's where we're at. So that's his listing. The lucky buyer had the username spasmolytic.
Cool. So cool.
So fun. Whose real name is is it Losif or Yosef for if it's Russian? It's an L.
I feel like it's Yosef.
If it's Yosef, that sounds more right.
Yeah.
Okay. Whose real name is Yosef Nietsky.
Nice. Good job. Nietsky.
I can do that
too.
Nietsky was a college student in Missouri. And I would like to know why he has $140 to blow on a haunted box. And from what I read, he had roommates, so I wonder how they felt about it. What college student has an extra $140 to blow on a haunted box?
Depending on how much you get from your FAFSA loans.
Or your freaking rich parents.
That's true. But also, he was like, I'm only going to pick a mature buyer. And he picks a college student?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're still in their 20s. They're an adult. I don't know.
I'll babysit it between finals, okay?
Yeah, no, not cool.
So I don't know. I kind of felt weird about that.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
But maybe they ordered it up like after a night of drinking. Who knows? But Nietsky didn't keep the box for long. He actually ended up relisting it on eBay after only having it for 8 months. He listed it under Haunted Jewish Wine Cabinet Box.
Nice title.
Yes. In his listing, he describes the awful experiences he and his roommates had gone through since acquiring the box.
Crazy.
These quotes are from the LA Times article that I couldn't find the original eBay listing that this guy posted. But in the article, Nietsky said, "We have definitely seen a tidal wave of bad luck. Most disturbingly, last Tuesday, my hair began to fall out. I'm in my early 20s and just got a clean blood test back from the doctors. Niecki's alleged experiences, which are also posted on eBay, include strange odors in his house, a bug infestation, malfunctioning electrical devices, and, quote, sort of like large vertical dark blurs in my peripheral vision.
Vertical dark blurs in my peripheral vision.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like
ghost
how...
dudes. It's shadow people, man.
Yes. He also said he had a lot of car problems during this time.
So interesting. It's all the creepy stuff. All the classic creepy stuff.
Or maybe he just doesn't have his life together.
Oh.
Stop eating ramen and eat a goddamn piece of broccoli.
Okay.
He ends it with, anyhow, for personal reasons. Anyhow, for personal reasons, I very strongly do not want this box anymore. I hope there's someone on eBay that will take this thing off my hands. I would just throw it away in the woods or something, but I know there's been some interest in this in the past. So he posts it on eBay and he sells it for $280. Nice. Exactly doubling his money.
Nice. That's how you do it.
I mean, but if you think like this is all for a big money-making scheme, he didn't really make a fortune. Neither of them
not
did.
at all. That's like measly money.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot.
It's not worth it.
Now, the person who ended up purchasing the box on eBay had actually first learned of the box through a student employee of his who coincidentally was one of the roommates of Niecki.
Oh.
If this was the case, I'm surprised he didn't just ask outright to purchase it since they lived in the same town. You know? It's weird. Anyway, the man who purchased it is named Jason Haxton. He's an interesting guy to me because he seems like the most solid, credible person in this story.
Okay.
When you're just looking at his credentials.
Mm-hmm.
He's the museum director at the Museum of Osteopathic Medicine at A.T. Still University in Missouri. So that's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
He's got responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
He collects and studies antiques as well as religious artifacts, and he seems to be pretty respected in his field.
Yeah.
So he runs this museum, and one of his student employees was one of the roommates of Niecki. So that's how they're connected.
Yes.
But Haxton had many claims as to how the box affected him. He said the first time he touched it, he had extreme nausea and began retching up ectoplasmic gunk.
Stop.
And then the nausea turned into sharp stomach pains.
Was it like, what color was that? Was it green?
Ectoplasm's green, right?
But it was coming out of him.
He said he was coughing it up.
Ew. That's really gross and extreme. I have not heard of that before.
Yeah, it doesn't sound pleasant. He said he went to bed and he woke up with bleeding eyes.
What? You just like went worse to worse? I just don't, you know how I feel about eyes and now they're bleeding?
Well, okay. So that's what he said. That's what he told Zach Baggins. But in the LA Times, he was quoted saying, quote, I woke up with my right eye looking like it had been poked. So...
poked and then bleeding from the poke?
And I think bleeding was after he said it had been poked. So it seems like he's kind of exaggerating there.
Yeah, I see your point. I see it.
Yeah, but I bet Zach probably brings out the drama in all of us.
Oh, yeah, probably. Just gives you that look through those glasses.
And you're like, I have to up my story. Haxton also said he had broke out in hives and throat swelling to where he couldn't breathe and was often tired with constant nasal congestion and a metallic taste in his mouth. Around the house, Haxton said he would sometimes smell the odors of cat urine and flowers.
Stop it with the flowers and the urine.
And the urine, always with the urine.
But that's specific smells.
Mm-hmm. Those are unmistakable.
That multiple people are claiming to be smelling with this item.
Mm-hmm.
That's what gets me.
Yeah, it's weird. He also claimed the Dibbuk box reversed his aging.
No, dude. No. That's not how it works.
I know. It's like, dude. Okay, you're pulling me in. You got me. You lost me. You lost me.
You're pulling me and then you're throwing me.
So is it worth it? Is the bleeding eyes worth it? I bet you half of LA would still buy it. They found out it reversed aging. Bleeding eyes be damned.
They'll try anything.
Yeah. So Haxton purchased the box in 2004, and in 2011, he published the book, The Dibbuk Box, which actually sold reasonably well. Apparently in the book, he kind of does the thing where he tells you all the crazy stuff that happened with the box, but at the end, he never says if he believes if it's haunted or not. It's kind of like the you decide, you know. He started getting so much attention and so many inquiries about the box that he decided to create a website called the dybbukbox.com. Very easy to find.
Yeah.
There he details the story and the history of the box, and he includes pictures. The website, it definitely looks like something an older museum director might make.
Oh no, is it like really outdated website?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 90s old school internet?
Yeah, it's like it's got the black background. I don't know. It's just you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it.
Totally. I totally know what you mean.
So he was also a production consultant along with Kevin Mannis on the horror film The Possession, which is based on the Dibbuk box. So that came out in the 2000s too. I do remember seeing the trailer of that movie. It looked really creepy. It's like this little girl gets possessed by, they like go to a yard sale and they find this box and this little girl gets all possessed.
Of course, because little girls are
creepy. It's always a
too.
little girl. It's really creepy.
Little girl or old lady?
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, although the two men had by far done the most writing on the subject of this Dibbuk box, hello, Kevin Mannis, your listing was 20 pages long. The co-writing credentials for the film actually went to freelance entertainment writer Leslie Gorenstein, who wrote up that short article in the LA Times I quoted earlier. Oh. So she writes one little tiny article and they're like, writing credits.
That would be infuriating.
And these two guys get, what was it? They get consulting. I don't know. They probably got paid way less than she did.
Lame.
Then Jason Haxton goes on the show Deadly Possessions in 2016.
Nice.
This is the show I cringed my way through when I first heard about this story. It's hosted by the one and only Zach Baggins, who has people come to his to his museum of haunted and cursed objects to show off their haunted or cursed objects.
Yeah.
Side note on the museum. First of all, regular admission tickets are $48 plus tax, I would assume.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you get like a 90-minute tour. But if you're feeling bougie, you can upgrade to the RIP all access ticket and you get an exclusive RIP badge, a lanyard, a haunted museum t-shirt, and extended access on your tour, including off-limit areas.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't know how much that was. It was like $100. It's a lot more.
And they're doing RIP instead of VIP.
Yeah.
Because that's so clever.
Mm-hmm.
I would still go to his museum.
I probably would too. I don't want to give him my money, but I would. All visitors are required to sign a waiver.
Yes, I heard that.
Stating that they understand the risks before entering. Additionally, children under the age of 16 are not permitted, and proof of age is required.
Ooh.
I heard that he has some pretty fucked up stuff in his museum. Like, pretty dark.
For sure.
So it's probably like an R rating for movies. Like, you can't go in if you're young.
Are you referring to, like, when Em and Christine talked about it on
Yeah,
that's where I really learned about it, too, because they described certain rooms and stuff that they went into.
Yeah, and it sounds a lot more involved than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So $50 for a 90-minute tour, that's not that bad.
That's not that bad. You're in Vegas. You're looking at real haunted shit from the Zach Baggins. I would do it.
Everything in Vegas is expensive.
Yeah. I heard that they said the signed poster was like $50 on its own or something. And I'm like, that's interesting that you think that.
You should have seen it. I was going through everything in the gift shop.
Really?
That you can order.
Oh
and I was
God.
like, Michael, come look at this. Because he has his own biography. No. He didn't write it. Someone else wrote it. It's called I Am Haunted. And
he is a special kind of person.
the cover. Can you guys just do me a favor right now and look up the cover? Because it is him with his like very sculpted, stupid goatee facial hair with his spiked, stupid gelled hair. And then he looks like he's all like tough. And then there's a spirit ghost fingers on his chest. And there's a spirit ghost lady holding on to him. She's all hot.
He's like really into like sexiness with ghosts.
I know.
Or he thinks ghosts are like really into him.
He's like, ghosts want to bang me, just like everyone else.
But why do I love him so much?
I don't know.
It's a weird love-hate relationship I think all his fans have with him.
Yeah, I just love to hate him, man.
I
he's
mean,
so entertaining.
Yeah.
That's why I think he's trolling us.
Really?
I think he knows how stupid he is.
I think he's aware. I think he's just doing it because like that's his character now.
Yeah, and he has to. That's who he is now.
I mean, that's his brand now.
Yeah.
And so I get it.
Oh, we could go on and on about Zach Baggins. Okay.
The other dudes are pretty normal and I love them too.
Right? They're pretty normal.
They're totally normal. I still love the show. It's the best ghost show ever.
Michael's dad would probably fight you on that. What's the one that he likes?
He likes that Josh Gates guy.
Oh.
Travel. Oh, is it Destination Truth?
Destination Travel Destination.
They're all on the Travel Channel.
Yeah, he's big into ghost shows. Shout out to Larry.
Oh, him and I would be best friends.
And his mom likes him too. She's cool.
Nice.
Everyone's cool.
You have cool parents.
I know. So anyway, Haxton travels from Kirksville, Missouri to Las Vegas and goes on Zach's show. And he brings the Dibbuk box with him to donate to the museum. Although some reports said donate, others said that Zach purchased it for tens of thousands of dollars. I'm not sure which one is correct.
Okay.
Much to the amazement of Zach, who upon first seeing it says, quote, "Oh my God, please tell me that's a replica."
So dramatic.
I'm like, why, Zach? Why would he bring you a replica?
Don't you actually want the real thing?
Please tell me that's a replica.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I traveled all the way here with a fake box. Actually, I did read Haxton did build a replica for media purposes. So maybe, I don't know, he could have bought the replica.
Oh.
They showed him like, it's kind of funny. They showed the side-by-side photos. He had completely rebuilt it, a replica of it, but like the original was just standing open. So it's like, well, I guess they weren't scared of the box then.
Oh, because that shit should stay closed.
Yeah. Or I guess
But
he had
is it
like
in
Amish
glass?
people made it. I think I was
They're
like,
really
he
good at
cursed all
wood.
the Amish people.
No.
They're like, don't look into the history. You don't have internet, so you don't know anything about it. It's cool. It's chill. Just make it. They don't have electricity. They're not going to notice the flickering lights.
They don't know. They're really good at doing things with wood.
They're very good at building.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there is a replica, just so y'all know. So Haxton presents Zach with the box and tells him all of the horrors he experienced while having it, telling him that the box had been buried on Haxton's 26 acres in an undisclosed location, locked in a military box for the past 5 years. Very dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Military box.
Yes, and buried. He didn't tell anyone where it was, and he had to dig it up to bring it on the show. Then Zach brings in Kevin Mannis to talk about his experiences with the box, and Mannis claims that the box may have even killed someone. He said there was an old man living at a house where the box was being stored in the basement, and the old man was found dead, sitting in a chair alone in the basement with the box underneath. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, of course.
We all know Mannis is a little extra.
Mm-hmm.
Zach then takes Kevin Mannis down to the basically like the basement of the museum that he named the isolation chamber, because of course he did. It's not the basement; it's the isolation chamber.
It's the isolation chamber.
And the stairs to the isolation chamber are guarded by a scrawny old man named Theodore, who is wearing an old-timey suit with a silk black top hat. They don't explain this. He's just this old man alone at the entrance of a basement wearing a full suit and top hat.
Top hat. I mean, that's kind of creepy, and I think that's the vibe he's going for.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have also, like, I don't know what the PC way of saying it, but like little people?
Oh. Well, I don't know. They didn't show it on the episode, but I think that is the PC way to say it.
Okay. I think
Little
I heard that
people.
also on And That's Why We Drink.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, almost like a circusy kind of.
Yeah, maybe it's supposed to be. Yeah, like the freak show vibe, I think.
Yeah.
But still, I was like, that little old man isn't going to guard anything. He probably has arthritis. Okay, so Mannis goes down there alone, and on a table sits the Dibbuk box. Of course, it's all being filmed.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin just marches right up to it, and he opens the thing. But he doesn't care. He just like throws it open, and like the whole time Zach had been making this big deal about the box. He's like, can't touch the box, can't open the box, and he's just like, boop, opens it. Zach and his team are watching all of this from their control center room, which I think they named like the nerve center. I don't know. He named it something really stupid.
I mean, that's what they say on the show.
Is it the nerve
Yeah,
center?
they have a nerve center.
When the box is open, though, lights flicker in different areas of the museum. Then things get weird. Kevin starts pacing by the wall in the back corner of the room and starts reciting this weird poem/story in this like different fancy voice. He takes on this accent. It's weird as shit. Like you
sounds weird as shit. I mean, I've watched it, I think.
Yeah, I wrote down a little bit of this thing that he starts reading. So he's just like pacing away from the camera, and then he just starts speaking. Light from the hallway crept into my room, along with the shadow man too, I assume. Never before had I seen such a form that could change the candle's flame licks in a storm. White as a monkey crept in on his knees, and he perched on the edge of the bed, if you please, lest he begin. I wait here in the darkness till you fall asleep, then I come to your dreams with a promise to keep. From the nighttime to morning, I'll torment your soul. And then it keeps going on. But he's reciting this in the most dramatic, theatrical way.
Yeah.
And Zach is like, they're like watching all of this and he's freaking out. He thinks he's possessed.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. It's just so weird.
It's funny. Can we actually take a quick break?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So I did Google the verses because it just seemed very rehearsed.
Mm-hmm.
And it popped up on the website called broadjam.com, where Kevin has a profile and has that same story posted titled The Shadow Man Part 1. There's not a part 2.
Oh, that's
but it's his own poem. It's his own writing, so he's thirsty and suspect.
Okay, yeah, he's thirsty.
He's thirsty. He's like, oh, I got a show. I'm just gonna do my talent real quick. So yeah, Zach thinks he's possessed, and he makes the old man Theodore go check on him. He sends the old guy downstairs. He won't go downstairs himself. I'm like, very manly. Zach, send an old man.
Yeah.
Kevin then claims he doesn't remember saying any of that. So dumb, I think. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
Interestingly, in a 2015 post from Kevin Mannis on a Facebook page called Haunt Me, he had this to say about a story they did regarding a different Dibbuk box. So this is his post or his comment. I have to call bullshit on the episode Haunt Me did at Mexico High School with a supposed Dibbuk box. The setup and definition of a Dibbuk box was entirely false and erroneous, and the claim that the box was being, I don't know what this means, sevensed, had a so-called fifth level demon and was also a bunch of hogwash. I am uniquely qualified to make these claims as I am the original creator of the story of the Dibbuk box, which appeared as one of my eBay posts back in 2003. The idea that Dibbuk boxes have some kind of history prior to my story, and the idea that a Dibbuk box could contain anything other than a Dibbuk, along with any deviation to the types of contents I created to be found inside of a Dibbuk box, is laughable at best. How about this? If you or anyone else can find any reference to a Dibbuk box anywhere in history prior to my eBay post, I'll pay you $100,000 and tattoo your name on my forehead. Bottom line, wow. I applaud your reference to my work, but use your own creativity to come up with something for your show and leave my practice of Kabbalah and my intellectual property alone.
So wordy and delicious.
Yeah, so I think he's a dick, probably.
Yeah, he sounds like a little bit of a dick.
And also, he's basically in that post saying, I made up the story.
Yeah.
He's saying, I created the story. I came up with the idea. For it. You can't say that this happened because it's not real because I made it up. Is kind of what he's saying.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe he'd had too much to drink and was like getting a little feisty. And guess what? Everything stays on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get too sold on how I think it's fake, let me regale you with a tale of our boy, Posty Malone.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Post Malone touched it.
Yeah, I wrote, this was late last night. I said, he's the postest with the melostest. Sorry.
The melostest. I appreciate you.
Well, it might not surprise you to find out that Posty and Zach are buds. It kind of makes sense.
It totally makes sense, and I love both of them.
So in 2018, Post is visiting Zach's museum, and they're in the room with the Dibbuk box.
Mm-hmm.
Zach takes off the protective plexiglass cover and actually touches the box. It's just then that Post goes up to Zach and grabs his shoulder for just a moment. But in their minds, long enough for Post Malone to now be cursed. And to be fair, he did seem a little cursed after that.
Yeah.
His private plane had to make an emergency landing after the tires blew off.
Terrifying.
Also, private plane, shame on you, sir. So wasteful. A home in San Fernando Valley was robbed by 3 armed assailants who believed that they were breaking into Post Malone's home. Luckily, they were wrong.
Oh.
He also got into a bad car accident in his Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce again. Come on.
I mean, he's got that 50 million now. I don't know. Isn't that a lyric?
I don't know. It's how much he has wouldn't surprise me. Ew, that's gross. That's so much money.
And he's younger than us. I keep forgetting that. And it's
Ew.
gross.
Is
he? Yeah, he's 24. Isn't
He's
that disgusting?
He's an old 24.
I know, right? With the hair and the facial hair.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah. I mean,
Yikes.
That's why I'm always like shocked because I'm like, wait, I'm older than you.
He's a rough 24.
I mean, he's been through a lot.
Yeah, I guess. Woof. So, could he actually be cursed by the Dibbuk box? My guess is no.
I mean, bad things happen to people.
And I do have one more Debbie Downer fact for this story.
Okay.
So there is a great article from a guy named Kenny Biddle in a publication called The Skeptical Inquirer. Kenny Biddle is basically a professional hater, and I love him. He takes down the Dibbuk box with sass and logic, and as much as I love a good ghost story, I also love people like Kenny who tell me it's not real so I can go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, one of the points he makes in his article is the fact that the patent for the design of that box was not recorded until 1957. So it's pretty unlikely that this is a super old box from Spain. And I hate to drink the haterade, but I think I'm going to have to call bullshit on this box. What do you think?
I mean...
1957. That's only 15 years after 1942 was America's entrance to the World War II. So, like, if she escaped from a concentration camp.
You're saying it's still
and fled to Spain
feasible.
15 years later, yeah. She was a child, like, I assume, when she survived.
I didn't say.
The timeline seems okay, but everything else is bullshit.
Also, I listened to an interview he did with a podcast. It wasn't a very good interview, but it was Kevin Mannis, and I want to say it was after he posted that Facebook post. So the interview was after he'd already said it's fake or whatever. But in the interview, he starts going into this like backstory with this woman, how she was messing with the occult, and like it was very trendy at the time, and they started communicating with the spirit, and they like wanted to trap it, but they messed up, and now it's this box. I don't know. He had this whole backstory that I hadn't heard before, and I was like, where's this info coming from? Like, why do you all of a sudden have this extra? I don't know. I didn't see it published anywhere else except for that one interview. I don't know. I didn't get good vibes from him during the show. He just seems a little extra. He seems like he's a writer. He's a creative. Come on. He's got an imagination. Clearly, he's thirsty with his reciting of his poem or whatever it was. I don't know. I think he made it all up.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I totally see your point. I feel like I still believe objects can be haunted.
Yeah, I'm not disputing like all haunted objects, but I think this one
particularly
is bullshit.
Yeah, I think objects can be haunted, but I also think that people can be full of bullshit. So it sounds like that's the case.
Yeah. Also, since the fame of the Dibbuk box, people have now started making their own supposed Dibbuk boxes and are selling them for like $70 online. You can buy your own haunted Dibbuk box, and I did watch one of these videos, and it was like this YouTuber. And
a dude?
Yes. Did you?
Okay. I wonder if it's the same dude, because on the like paranormal cotton camera show I watch sometimes, also on the Travel Channel, also probably really, really ridiculous. But yeah, it was like a YouTuber who bought it off eBay or something. Yeah. And it was like, hey, I'm doing this for my YouTube channel. Like, this is full of bullshit. And then like he opened it, and then like things started falling off the walls.
Yeah, that's it's the same one I think I watched.
Like a blonde bro dude.
Ooh, was he blonde? I don't remember. He had a GoPro on and a regular camera.
Yeah.
And he it's like a box
blonde.
and it's like covered in wax.
Yes, red
and
wax.
he like cuts it open.
He sees a selenite crystal in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Same, so yeah.
And then something falls off the wall and he's like, fuck that.
Yeah, like his YouTube plaque.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm out of here. And I'm like, that's what you asked for.
Yeah, idiot. I know that video made me laugh really hard, but
Yeah, it's a good one.
yeah, so now you can buy your own if you want.
Yeah. I mean,
The fact that there isn't any mention of a Dibbuk box before this eBay posting also makes me think like you made it up, and you made it up based off of not a lot of history. You clearly probably didn't read that much on it. It was like, a Dibbuk, that sounds cool. Dibbuk box, got this box,
I thought
got
that
a
meant
sell
devil. Dibbuk.
Dibbuk? No, it's the Hebrew. It's a shortening of a longer word,
Yeah.
meaning
Okay.
to stick or to cleave. Ghost titties, remember?
Right.
Cleavage.
To clean on to somebody or something.
Yeah.
With the titties.
Required. So yeah, that's the Dibbuk box. I
Good
think
job.
you know my thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a professional hater. I do like other stories. I'm just not into this one.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that we do stories that we like don't believe in. Like I don't believe in the Kurt Cobain one.
Yeah.
But it's still fun to talk about the conspiracy and like see the argument, but then kind of conclude your own decision.
Yeah, I think I also read a conspiracy that like they were all in on it for this money making scheme because like the two guys that bought it were living in the same state, like the teacher and that student. Like they just wanted to make this internet sensation, but even still I don't know, they got movie credits, but it's not like they became wildly rich and wildly famous.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm gonna say no. How about you, Michael? You're probably always gonna say no.
They're probably still lying to this day. They probably just, haven't come up with something else that can make them as famous as that box.
Yeah. So, Feeny.
Finish.
Yep. Do you want to talk about anything else? What do we got?
Hey, so I have a shout out this week. I've been in contact with a really cool podcast called 90s Crime Time.
Love them.
They are pretty cool. They started out on Instagram, and their Instagram page is the same name. It's super good. They have pictures and like a long caption pretty much saying the story. And now she has a podcast where she has like little bite-sized crime episodes of these same stories. And it's really good. She has a really good soothing voice. And it's just like really nice, quick, easy, bite-sized stuff.
That's nice.
Yeah, because a lot of people kind of complain that sometimes episodes are too long. But they have a great podcast. I recommend them. Check it out.
Do we have a promo? Did you say that?
No, I don't think we have a promo
For them yet? Okay.
No, but I wanted to give them a hella shout out.
But check them out.
Check them out. She's really cool.
Cool. Oh, I was going to talk about, I fangirled a little hard this week because I listened to a podcast called The Murder Squad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great podcast with the Paul Holes. Hell yeah.
Paul Holes.
And Billy Jensen. Love that podcast. But they have a producer on there named Polly Katowski. And I love her. She chimes in on their cases. She asks questions that I'm thinking of that the two dudes, it's
sometimes don't cover.
Yeah, sometimes we think differently. But anyway, she had posted something for resources for Black Lives Matter for donating, which I reposted. And then she ended up following us and I freaked out.
That's right. And she like hearted our like little story. And I was like, oh my God, she knows Paul Holes.
I know.
That is a close connection. We're famous now.
One person removed from Paul Holes.
The gorgeous Paul Holes. But that's pretty cool.
That was cool. That's our celeb moment.
Yeah.
For
it's
the
a little
week.
brag moment.
That was cool. But I don't got anything else.
All right. Should I tell them where we're at?
Yeah.
Cool. So like we said, we're on Instagram and we're at Anxious and Afraid the Pod. We're also on Facebook. We have a group and a page at Anxious and Afraid the Pod. We are on Twitter at AA the Pod. We are on Patreon at patreon.com/anxiousandafraid. Email us. Abby seems to be really desperate for some ideas and material. So give her some ideas. Email us at anxiousandafraidthepod@gmail.com. And we also have a website to check out at anxiousandafraid.com. And if you haven't already, give us a rating or subscription. That's really helpful.
Yeah, please. And with that, I'm going to say...
Are we doing it the same way? Is this a new trend? Is this our new way?
No.
Michael hates this one.
Michael, do it with us. Get up and night. You're such a party pooper. You guys ready for some credits? Because I got some. There's a list. Okay, here we go. Wikipedia.com, JewishVirtualLibrary.org, GhostVillage.com, Genius.com, LATimes.com, Skeptoid.com, TheHauntedMuseum.com, and TheSkepticalInquirer.org. Our music is by Broke for Free, and we're always edited by Michael.
Cool.
Thanks again for listening to Scary Time by Indie Drop-In Network. Check out all of Indie Drop-In's shows at indiedropin.com. If you would like your show featured, reach out to us at Indie Drop-In on all social media or go to indiedropin.com.